Hi, it's Monday night, the 16th of August, and I want to thank you for joining me. This has been it's been quite the journey. I'm learning a lot about myself, and I guess that when you push yourself, you start learning about yourself. So tonight I'm going to read a couple of sections from the fourth book, which is called Resilience. And it's about, several people that we've already met, Josie and Al and Ruth and Trevor. And I also introduce a new couple, Gordon and Lorraine. Lorraine is Trevor's mother, and Gordon is Al's dad. And they're, older people. They've been on their own for several years, and they find each other. And it's kind of like the beginning of their story. So when we first meet Lorraine, her husband Bill has committed suicide. And Bill has always been sort of a bully. And this is what happened on that first night, when her first night as a widow. She's having a memory of her son Trevor giving her a notebook. She unwrapped that first notebook Trevor gave her as a Mother's Day gift many years ago. Her son had wanted to encourage her to start writing again, something she'd given up when she married Bill. She remembered hugging Trevor for his thoughtfulness and grateful that Bill wasn't there to offer a sarcastic opinion about the gift. After Trevor left that night, she carefully wrapped the black suede notebook in its crinkly white tissue paper, squaring it neatly back into the box. She hid it in her closet next to her shoe boxes full of baby Trevor pictures that she'd never had the time or determination to sort chronologically into albums, as her mother had done for her and Lloyd's baby pictures. Looking around, she wondered what she was going to do now. This was her first night as a widow. She unearthed the first notebook and decided that she would start writing gratitude lists. She decided she would find 4 items every day that she could be grateful for. The first item on that list was always the same. She was grateful for Trevor. And on that first night, she was grateful, number 2, for breathing in and out. 3, she was grateful that Bill shot himself at the living room because it was easier to clean. And number 4, she was grateful that she was grateful. She soon realized that keeping a journal spurred her to take other action. In another lifetime, taking action had been Bill's job. Her first action was to leave the walnut farm. Trevor helped her move soon after the funeral, a dreary event attended only by Trevor and Bill's oldest sister, Missy. No one else from his family came. There were no friends. Before the service, Trevor packed his car with her books, clothes, and some knickknacks, and 3 shoe boxes filled with pictures and papers. She was dismayed at the paucity of her 32-year marriage. She had remembered starting the marriage with clothes, books, photographs, and left with different clothes, some of the same books, and additional photos. She continued to take action. After securing a job as a sole office support in a one-man insurance agency, Lorraine learned how to drive. Another difficult truth she had to face was that Bill had kept her a 7-night prisoner by refusing to either teach her to drive or to have her learn how to drive. Too late, she understood she had given Bill her life and her will. Theirs was a demoralizing marriage. For years, all was well. Then came Trevor's car accident and its aftermath, which included meeting Leslie Broderick and Martha Janine Montrose from Walkerville. Intuitively, Lorraine knew she wanted to be friends with these women. She realized her life up until then was bereft of friendships. She wanted to be part of the bond between these two women. Now Lorraine had only 10 more pages on her 10th notebook. She would order another pile of notebooks from Amazon. And now she was going to move away again. She was moving down to Walkerville. This time she felt she was moving towards and not away from. So that's the first section. And then we go into a few weeks later. She's started her new job, or is in the process of starting her new job. She's met some people in the town of Walkerville, and she's out exploring by herself. Lorraine's self-appointed task before she started her new job was to acquaint herself with Walkerville, identifying buildings, places, people with the information Trevor, Leslie, and Martha Janine had given her. Having met Desmond, Becky, and Bee, she knew they made up hair vocation Desmond's shop. Driving by, she saw not only the salon, but also the famous CG's next door. She vowed to have a meal there soon. She drove past Main Street towards the other end of town from the water tower. There, at the three corners, was Al and Josie's veterinary practice, Pet's Hospital. Connecting the dots, she remembered Gordon, Al's father, Josie's father-in-law, and proud grandpa to Gordy. Of all the people she had met at that party, her thoughts had come back again and again to the friendly Gordon. Quite aware of her single status in a sea of couples, she did not miss the fact that he was the only other unattached person present. She wondered if it was a coincidence that he was there. She shook her head out of her reverie. No use speculating. Bill had left her with a bad taste as far as relationships were concerned. Circling back around, she found Lafayette's grocery, where she stocked up on food, especially lunch items, because she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to go home for lunch or even what her hours would be. She checked out a community board just outside the grocery store, and she noted the information about the mobile library van, which stopped at the parking lot over at CG's on Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. An avid reader, Lorraine sat in a car jotting down the information when she heard a knock on her window. Looking up, she saw Gordon, smiling like he was extremely glad to see her. She rolled down her window. "Hey, Gordon, great to see you." "Hey, Lorraine. I'm running into CG's for a bite of lunch, then picking up some food for Josie and Al. Would you care to join me?" She was flustered. I got groceries in the trunk, and I was on my way back to the water tower." Gordon looked disappointed. She decided, "Okay, why not? It's not that warm out here. I'm sure my groceries will be fine." He opened CG's front door for her, and he put his hand on her elbow as if to guide her in. Lorraine, the hostess and head waitress, hurried over to them, thrusting well-worn menus in Gordon's hand. "Hey, Gordon, good to see you. Beautiful grandbaby. Go ahead and just seat yourselves." "Thanks, Lorraine. You too. Will do." They were at the tail end of Monday lunch rush with several tables available. Gordon guided her to a two-top at the far corner near the window, which afforded some privacy. She nodded as he asked, "Is this okay, Lorraine?" She smiled. "How nice that everyone seems to know everyone." Gordon grinned. "A blessing and a curse depending on who you are or what family member has either done badly or done well." Laughing, Lorraine teased, "It sounds a bit cynical. And growing up in a small town, which is a little bit bigger than Walkerville, I understand completely." "Josie tells me you've been living in Oregon for the past few years." Gordon hesitated before adding, "I understand you're a widow." Adding cream to her coffee, Lorraine nodded. "That's right on both accounts. Trevor's father, my husband Bill, died over 4 years ago." With much dignity, Lorraine exhaled a breath and continued, We had some difficulties with our walnut ranch. My husband made some wrong decisions and he killed himself. At that time, I didn't drive. When it turned out we lost everything, Trevor took me to my parents' home, the home I grew up in. Gordon was silent, as if assessing her. Her sandy eyes widened in alarm. Was that TMI? Gordon's twinkling blue eyes regarded her with some warmth. As you said earlier, this is a small town. Holding up his palms, he hurried to explain. And I have to tell you that I've known Ruth all her life, and I know Trevor. I know some things about your past, not all of it, just stuff that Trevor's disclosed. She blew air up, bangs moving away from her forehead. Wow, yeah, I forgot about Trevor being here already, and of course he would have told you. Lorraine laughed. And this is the best part about a small town. If someone introduces you to someone, you're okay, sort of like an instant vetting system. I never thought about it like that, Gordon agreed. I was around for some of Ruth's agony when Trevor dropped out of sight. I don't know if that hadn't happened if I'd know as much about you. Seems like Ruth had to keep repeating everything she knew about Trevor to keep him alive for herself. Lorraine's eyes clouded with tears. It was a tough time for a lot of people, including me and my parents. For months, Trevor didn't remember who I was. I thought I had lost my son emotionally and mentally, and just had the physical person. Surreptitiously wiping away tears, she added, I'm so grateful that he remembered Ruth by hearing Leslie's voice. She and Martha Janine being there was just the right combination of emotional and mental triggers to start a flood of memories. Gordon started to reach for her hand and was thwarted by the arrival of their lunch. He also remembered to order 2 specials to go. Lorraine had the special, which was a deep-fried calamari sandwich on a homemade brioche bun with sesame coleslaw and crispy fries. And Gordon's lunch was a BLT on sourdough with the same dishes. They ate in companionable silence, each feeling comfortable in the other's presence, even with so short an acquaintance. She peppered her fries and chewed one thoughtfully. You said you knew only the information that Trevor disclosed. Do you want to know anything that he didn't disclose? Leaning to the next table to steal more napkins, Gordon replied. Whatever you want to tell me, I'm glad to hear, and if you don't want to tell me anything, that's fine too. Picking up a half sandwich, she asked before taking a bite. Gordon, I'm a little rusty. I was married for almost 32 years. Are you asking me because you're interested in me or just because you're a nice, maybe nosy sort of guy? He choked on a bite of coleslaw and was quick to sort himself out. He felt himself flush, perhaps because of the coleslaw or because of the challenging question she had put before him. It was a toss-up. Gordon frankly responded, Lorraine, if I wasn't interested before, I certainly am now. And that's it. Those are the readings for tonight. I read from Resilience. And AC, my factum, tells me that I should hold the book up instead of moving it around. So thanks for joining me. And don't forget to look below on the YouTube page. If you like this with YouTube, it would help if you could click like. And also on the page, there's information about how to get in touch if you've got questions or feedback. And also if you just want to say hello. AC is archiving all of these live readings, and there's a link to that playlist below as well. And the link for tomorrow's night's stream. And I'll be back at 11 my time again. Hope to see you. And tomorrow night, I'm going to read again from Resilience. So thank you again for joining me, and sleep well.